And this is it, right, Scott?
Yeah,
I turn
yes,
into a
please.
pumpkin. At 8 o'clock, I go bright orange and turn into a pumpkin, so.
Yep, and we'd like to wrap up. So this is our last speaker this evening. Sorry, Gordon. Please introduce yourself.
Oh, hi, my name is Catherine Ryan, and I'm in Ward 1 at
Hi,
17
Catherine.
High Rock.
Hi.
Hey.
Sorry, what was your address?
17 High Rock.
Oh, thank you very much. Okay, go for it.
So I have a couple comments and a couple questions, and I'm going to start by saying I hope that this vote that's tentatively scheduled for the end of February can be pushed back. And I heard your suggestion about splitting it out over 3 days because of time constraints with listening and to make it easier to vote. But I think something that happens when people listening to meetings is they hear other comments, and even though it is repetitious to be on the side where you are listening to it, not everybody gets to hear everything, and it's powerful to hear it, you know, as a total, as a totality. So I just wanted to make those two comments at the top. Also, I want to say that I served on several downtown committees, including Reimagining Railroad Avenue, and these were specifically tied to the MBTA build outs in downtown and adding amenities and things to make it more comprehensible for people getting off the train to walk downtown, for putting in sidewalks that, you know, are for Maplewood residents so they can actually walk to the Y that used to be there or to Main Street. It was about investing in the downtown, perhaps thinking about putting more trees and green space, because these are things that people brought up as values. So what strikes me also, you know, way back in 2000, you know, the nationally known Project for Public Spaces came in and did an analysis of the railroad downtown area in association with the city and with Cape Ann Transportation Authority. And as other people have mentioned, there have been multiple community feedback, and it is strikingly consistent, and it's being reduced to sort of a decision about people not wanting it in their neighborhood. And I don't think that's consistently what's said. When you look at the feedback, it's struggling with how to bring in affordability, whether it's for multiple generation sharing in households, whether it's for artists who want studios, whether it's for seniors, whether it's for a mosaic. And in fact, we brought in the MAPC, you know, after 2000, you know, multiple successive grants, and they did, you know, fantastic breakdown of our economics and the housing and what available stock there was. And what stood out was this mosaic. So I'm opposed to the way this is being presented with these ordinance changes, specifically because it's sort of undermining those things that we were trying to put in to help to target those. And I think we're losing track. And I think on top of it, it's, you know, it's just because you're saying you want to make incremental changes and it's going to help. What we're seeing is it's exasperated, and this to me is pushing it along those lines instead of these greater discussions. And I'm hoping that there's more discussion, that the votes push back, but I want to bring up two more things. And I know I might be going over my 3 minutes, but nobody took the 15 minutes, and there have been other times that people are going over.
Let's just, I mean,
But there's some comments that are being made. I'm just going to say this, okay? Because in some ways, the ward that is being hit, the downtown, oh, by the way, you should put that map up on the link page of the zoning map. That should be on the page. So when people are coming to these meetings, they can look, oh, where is CB? Where is CCD? Where is R5? And I want to tell you, just in the past 6 months, the comments that I'm hearing are dominantly unfair for the downtown neighborhood. And I think we have to talk about it because we're talking about making these decisions related to making it more fair and equitable across the city. But I want to point out, this is the November meeting for the pot shop. The defense of the building around the development that's at the downtown train station, which has mixed use, and the pot shop's going in. The comment that was made that wasn't even pushed back by anybody. The people who come to marijuana shops are upscale shoppers. They have above medium income. They're spending a lot of money. These are the type of people we want to attract to our neighborhoods, so they take the place of the people we don't want. That is at a city council meeting, and nobody said anything. The next one, Jesse Alderman, who is the lawyer, who is part of the cannabis board, who helped write the code, said the security measures in that neighborhood, taken in my view, are the best related to a pot shop. Rather than taking the view that a licensed dispensary is inviting crime, it's the best thing you can do for a neighborhood short of putting a police station in that site. And I'm going to go back to this reimagining railroad that I was on. When people talked about what they wanted, when people talked about, housing and reimagining, it was profoundly the same as 2000 or 2004 or 1990. They were saying that they wanted to have emphasis on sidewalks, signage, street care, making it easier for seniors, bike rentals, safety, young families. They use terms such as soft and hardscaping, this variety, this nuance, maker spaces, lighting, trees, future businesses, single stories. Design is important, tying it into the environment, tying it into, it's such a full conversation, and it is specifically related to MAPC, and it is specifically related to development and building and getting investment. And when we were having these meetings, we were trying to get investment that was thoughtful, that was going to help bring in parks and trees and walking, not divorce that entire conversation.
Okay.
And
Well,
these comments are really, 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 in fact, they are in, Sean, they're in your article that you just wrote, your letter in the paper. I appreciate all your efforts. I was on these committees for years as well. We also on those committees have amazing help from all the city departments. You aren't volunteering with no help and useless hours like a million other committees. People volunteer and work so hard.
I don't think anybody's made that suggestion, though. I think Sean knows.
No, it
very
is.
much how much-
We're hearing this, and I've listened to every meeting. Every meeting says how much hours and how committed. This is decades of commitment, and the problem is getting exasperated. And I think this is a strong thing, and we have to talk about. It's not okay to use these descriptions as a defense of why it's going to be dominant in that neighborhood. The article that was in the paper last week said, don't worry, it's mostly not going to be in any of those other wards. Your charming neighborhoods, you use that word in that letter to the editor.
No,
the charm of those neighborhoods isn't going to be impacted.
Right,
so is downtown not charming?
If we can let Sean respond.
I live
and wrap it
downtown,
up.
Catherine, and I love downtown, and actually downtown happens to be a priority of mine. But my point in that letter was in response to people specifically who were saying that those neighborhoods, those outlying neighborhoods, because frankly, most people who don't live downtown are not as concerned with how downtown is developed. We had people at the meeting last night saying that all of this development and additional housing belongs downtown, not spread throughout. So my point in
Sean,
saying,
my point is I've been on these meetings too, and have listened to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of people giving feedback, and I don't believe that to be true. And I'm telling you, in these recent meetings, I'm hearing comments that are really, really disturbing. including at the January planning board meeting, where we're starting to talk about tracking excise tax downtown to tie it to parking. So if it really doesn't need all the parking lots, we'll be able to track that by the excise tax. And then
I don't-
also hearing comments from council members where they're saying all the height downtown is already high, so you can go higher down there because that's the density and that's the expectation. But it isn't. The mosaic and the variety is character.
I'm not sure what
just-
meeting you're talking about with the excise tax, because excise tax is not in the purview of planning board. That
Planning board.
discussion. That
It's
discussion
not,
wouldn't be-
but they're all
Right.
but they are all of the same comments related to planning downtown, and the parking is part of it. And we have excellent parking help in studies in the past 10 years, which I'm happy to pull those out too if you need them. But I think the link to the MAPC thing related to the MBTA, multiple reports over the past 10 years can be linked. I think you need to put the map. And I'm sorry, but I'm so upset about the comments related to the downtown and the type of people we want to have downtown. And if that's the buildup, you know, we all know that both Shaws were both sold. You know, these conversations are about planning and affordability. And that's not coming through with these changes. And I'm sorry if you haven't seen those, but I'm sure you have. I mean, have you seen them?
I would love to talk with
Have
you
you-
about this more. I'm not actually picking up on the particular points you're making tonight about the downtown comments or whatnot. But like I said, my telephone number is on the website, planning board website. You're welcome to call me anytime. I would love to talk with you more about this. I would love to talk with you about your experience on the committee looking at Railroad Avenue.
Yeah.
But at this point, I'm just not sure what I'm
No,
suffering a
I think we do
disconnect
need,
for.
we are past deadline. It is just past 8 o'clock now, so I'd like to wrap it up. Catherine, I do appreciate your passion and your commitment and your involvement. And I think that we'd like to carry on the conversation, but not this evening at this point. As we do wrap up, I'd like to mention that.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Catherine. As we wrap up this evening, there's still some 50 people that are listening online, but I'd like to point out that our council president has worked with the clerk's office and our IT department, and they've posted an extensive link from the city's website to the Planning and Development Subcommittee, which lists a number of these. Here we are. Thank you, Sherry. That this is a direct page off the city's website, and there are clickable links there for many of these reviews, meetings, proposals, studies, as well as links to each of the last, to tonight and the last 4 ward meeting discussions, so that there's a comprehensive, for those who have the time and the interest, source of material. And we will be, as Catherine requested, making sure that we've added the zoning map to this as well. Are there any other comments, Jason, or?
No, I want to
Ron?
thank everybody for the comments and the questions and the discussion. It's clearly an issue that raises passions. And I do want to thank Sherry for hanging out with us for this long. And of course, Sean, you know, battling through your current infirmament. We appreciate that. I do invite people to continue to pay attention. These ward meetings will be synthesized, and we'll be bringing them up at the next planning and development meeting, where we'll discuss not only the results and the tenor of these meetings, but also sort of our next steps moving forward. We are tentatively scheduled for the 22nd for a public hearing on this, assuming that we make recommendations out of P&D on Wednesday. If we don't, which I'm largely thinking, without being official, that that's unlikely, my guess is that the public hearing will be continued beyond that. But at the moment, it's currently scheduled for the 22nd, and I don't want to give anybody the impression that it's not, so that they don't show up. But do pay attention to what's going on next Wednesday, and we'll have some more clarity on that day. And if we need to put it off for another couple of weeks to continue the discussion and the deliberation, we will do that.
And
And
just,
again, I'd like to thank everybody and remind you that We've kept notes for this evening. We're transcribing your questions. They're being all
Trying to.
submitted in writing to the planning board. Yeah, Sean finishes his and I finish mine. Sean, you wanted to speak?
Yeah, just to thank both of you for letting me be here, and just to let everyone else know, just like as I told Catherine before, my telephone number is on the planning board website. My official role in this, in terms of a vote, is done. I voted in favor of all these to move them forward to the city council. But if anyone has questions that they would like more information on either how we got here or what the specifics are within the amendments, I'm happy to talk to folks. If people have additional ideas, as Catherine was talking about, in terms of doing other things with our zoning to help improve the city, I'm all ears on that. Also, feel free to reach out.
You know, everybody's passion has been very clear and strong. And the planning board and the planning development committee have tried to keep focused on the narrow amendments being proposed here. But as everybody very rightly points out, there are impacts and impacts, and it's important to try and take as holistic and comprehensive a view and about how this impacts quality of life and sewer and water and infrastructure and resiliency. That's not in the purview of these specific ordinances that were being considered, the zoning regulation changes, but it needs to be in the big picture of things. And that's what's come across loud and clear again this evening.
Very good.
Motion to adjourn, gentlemen. Sherry.
Let's do it. Thank you very much, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Have a good evening.
Thanks, folks.
Right.
Good night.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you.